happy to have you here on the Magnificent Mamas Thrive Show. As you know, we have been doing interviews or just really more conversations with women that are making things happen in their life, not just personally, but also in their businesses. And I feel like so many women have come to a pain point in their life somewhere along their journey, and they've created a business because of that pain point. Whether it's the situation that they're living in or that they had a problem like Boobalicious created this new desire to have prettier smelling boobs, which I love your story. But I have had the honor of having great conversations with you. You inspire me. You're a woman on fire. And I love that. And I know that you started your business when you were 47.
Yes,
right?
47. Yes.
Which is so cool to me because that's about where my age is now. And I've been a business owner since I was 22. So I give you so much credit because you had a big belief system, you had a desire, and you had motivation to stop living the way that you were living and start living the way that you wanted to live. So I know you have a huge heartfelt story to share, and I know that the magnificent mamas that are listening are all women who are looking to feel better about themselves, to change something within their life or the behaviors that are going on in their lives so they could either have something better, so they could feel better, or so they can create something for themselves or their family. So tell us your story because I know it's really powerful. Okay. So welcome to the Magnificent Mamas Thrive Show.
Thank you for having me and this opportunity. I'm really honored to be on your show. And I don't even know where to begin. I was 47 and I was laid off from my corporate job. And I worked in retail. I live in a small town in beach town in Delaware, and there's a lot of retail here. So losing my corporate job was pretty painful. So I worked in a boutique, and this is where my story starts, and I can backtrack to where I got the ambition from. But I was working in a boutique, and I had that awful boob sweat, and it was a hot summer night, and I said to my coworker, "Oh my gosh, I am mortified in this moment." And I looked at her, I said, "You know what, there should be a breast deodorant, and I'm going to create one and call it Boobalicious." I literally, within 30 seconds, came out with an idea to solve a problem. Did not know I was going to be an entrepreneur starting at 47. Did not know anything about business. Didn't even know how to start anything. So for 6 months, I marketed all the women that came into the boutique, "Would you wear this all-natural breast deodorant?" 98% said yes, they would love it. They wish there was something on the market. And my husband one day said, "Joani, stop talking about it and just do it." So I ran up to my computer. I looked up homemade deodorant. I looked at all the ingredients, what I would want on my personal, like, your embarrassing areas around your body, what ingredients would be healthy for you. I Googled it. The next day, I was telling my stepmother about it. A couple days later, I get a card in the mail from her. "If you don't try, you'll never know. It's $75. So that was my inspiration. I'm going to try this because I'll never know if I don't. Even though everyone laughed at me and said it was a stupid idea, "You're crazy. Who's going to buy boob deodorant?" I went for it. So the ingredients came in. I created Boobalicious. It took me 2 tries. Went to this farmer's market with a pink basket. And there was a customer at this farmer's market, and he asked me what I had in my pink basket, and I said, "It's Boobalicious, an all-natural breast deodorant." So he said, "I'm going to buy 2 for my wife because when she goes to the gym, this is what he said, she sweats like a pig." And we started laughing. So he bought the Boobalicious. The next day he calls me and says, "Joani, my wife's bra was so dry. This stuff works." So I knew I was on to something. So I started getting recognized by Etsy. I put it on the Etsy store. Someone told me about it. I got recognized in 2014 by Allure Beauty online, Cosmo online. I was getting blogs. I was in the Daily News in the UK. I went international. All these great things were happening. And then I had to put a stop to it because I had 3 children. One has mental illness and addiction. One's an alcoholic. And then the other one was a young baby. So all this going on, and like you said, life happens. Life really happens. I started this business, didn't know anything, and then, you know, this big thunderstorm came in during the middle of everything when everything was going great. And my daughter needed the help, and we got her help. And I didn't know how I was going to pay for her help, but I was selling on Etsy, and I was working part-time, and everything I made on Etsy paid for both my children's recovery. And I think that's when I had my Yahoo moment, like, oh my gosh, this product is more than just a product, it's a purpose. And my children have always driven me through the years to do better because I wanted them to have a comfortable life. So I realized then on Etsy making, you know, this money, I want to help other families that are going through the struggles that I'm going through with my children with their addiction and mental illness. So I got in touch with Millie. She owns Miracles Do Happen in Delray, Florida. And my daughter went to Miracles Do Happen. She's 5 years sober now. She's doing great. My son's doing good. He you know, there's relapse, but you know, when you're dealing with any kind of addiction or substance abuse, there's going to be relapse, and he struggles still, but he's doing good. And I have faith and belief in him, like you said, the belief factor. So now that this is all going on, things are great now, but I want to backtrack to when I was a single mom. I was a single mom, and I truly believe having the power of belief has helped me through my whole journey of doing and getting back up and just keep going. I lost my house, I lost my car, I lost everything with 2 young babies. I didn't know what I was going to do. I partied hard until I was 21. My husband at the time decided not to stop. I wanted to have healthy babies. And from that abuse, the substance abuse with him, from not stopping, we lost our house, our car. And I had 2 young babies. My daughter was like 2.5. My son was 9 months old. I had to move in with my parents. I left that house with $200. I had nothing. So, and it's all about mindset. Yes, I had my moments. We all struggle with life. But I said to myself, okay, I got to get a car. Once I get a car, I'll get a job. Then I'll get an apartment. So that was my mindset, not knowing how important it is to switch your mindset and have that power of belief. So within a year, I had the car, the job, the apartment. So then I wanted to do better. So I said, okay, I need to get a house for my children. I don't want to rent. I want to have a house for my children. So I went into a big corporation without a college education. And I got in there as a Kelly girl. Back then they were called Kelly girls.
Right.
And I worked my way up to a staff analyst and then a project scheduler. So I went in there with no college education, but I had 2 children to feed. And back then the child support was never on a regular basis, and there was always a struggle with that. So I worked my way up, and within 4 years I had my house, my own house, and with 2 young children. And that in itself was like such a great defeat that I did, because I had my mind.
Absolutely.
And then, like you said, the power of belief is so strong. And if you vision it and you believe it, it might not happen overnight, but it's going to happen if you keep going. Right. And that was my belief. There was nothing stopping me. And now here we are in 2020, because of that mindset back then, not knowing that it works with the entrepreneur world when you have your mindset.
Absolutely. So let me pause for a second. So you decided at 21, when you had these 2 children, that there was an unhealthy lifestyle going on within you, and you were going to change. But then you were with this husband who chose to not change. I mean, I don't believe that anyone does anything without support. So was there a person, was there a group, was there a family member that said, Joani, you need to get out of that life? Did someone breathe life into you? Did someone pour the belief in you?
The belief it was nobody. And it's before I had the children at 23 and 24. The belief then was, if you want to be a mom, which I always wanted to be a mom, that's all I ever wanted as a little kid, is to be a mom and be the best mom I could be. So before my babies were born, I knew I had to get healthy to have healthy babies. And that's what drove me. my future children, if that makes sense. I was thinking of having those healthy babies, and I didn't want to damage anything or hurt them or harm them. So I got healthy for them, for my future children. And that's
Wow.
what drove me.
Yeah. And so I see that that's a big correlation to people who are successful, is that they honor their being. They honor their bodies. They get up, they exercise, they meditate. Talk to so many entrepreneurs that meditate, take self-care action, and that's what helps to ground them. I know you're a big goal oriented person, and you write down your goals and you journal, which I think that it definitely has something to be said about getting out of your soul, what you desire, because there's so much going on outside in the real world. There's so many people's opinions or thoughts, but when you write things down, you start to realize what is your goal, what is your desire. So you're honoring your body, your soul, to say, I'm going to take care of my being so then I can have 2 healthy babies. That's awesome. So then tell me then what happened after that. So you had these kids, you had your home, and then what? Like, you've had always this desire to be a good mom.
And things fell apart. I decided to change my mindset. I decided to be healthy. I decided to be the good mom. And unfortunately, my husband wasn't ready at the time, my ex-husband at the time. So before I knew it, I didn't have a job. I lost my house. I mean, everything was just falling apart. I lost everything. I walked out of my house with $200, and I didn't even have my clothes because they were ruined. But that's another story. But I literally left with nothing. And I look back and it's like, how did I do it? But my mindset, I turned my belief, and I always say this, everything will work out. And I'm actually writing a book about my experience, and it's called Everything Works Out, The Power of Belief. So it's funny you said that, because that's the title of my book, The Power of Belief, because I believe in that power of belief. And when I left that house, I didn't work for, I think, 3-4 years, because I was taking care of babies. So I had to get back in the workforce. And not having a college education was a hard thing to do, because, people are going to hire you with the college education. But I didn't let that hold me back. And don't let that hold you back. Don't ever doubt yourself. And that's what I did. I doubted myself. But I still, even though I doubted myself, my children were my driven force. So I had to do it. So I had to face my fears and go out there. And I went to this Kelly girl. And I said, because I used to work for this big corporation, I said, yes, I work there. I hear you're hiring. And I didn't know if they were hiring. I took a chance. And she goes, well, do you know anyone in this company? And I started spitting out names. And I'm sitting there sweating, because I knew I wasn't really honest, but I had to do it to get in there to provide for my children. So she came back and said, yes, they know you, and we can get you in this position. So because of the power of belief, going in there with confidence, saying, I know they're hiring, I want to get in there, I did. And I had no idea, but I went in there with confidence, and I went there with belief. So I started out as a Kelly girl and worked my way up to a project scheduler. And I learned, and I absorbed, and I self-taught myself, because I knew I had to be in a better paying position to take care of my children. And it worked out. The power.
That's awesome. I would say in my, I guess, my vocabulary, I would say that's divine intervention.
Yes.
I believe wholeheartedly it's been something that I've allowed to guide me through those treacherous times, but also those really awesome times. Because one of the things that I feel like so often when we're in that hard time of life, we're alone. And I don't ever believe that we're ever alone. So if you use God, guides, spirit, whatever you want to call it, universe, I don't ever suggest any specific word, but anything bigger than us, your higher self, that's when we tune into that bigger vision of what there is for life. And we're not here to struggle. We're humans. We're here to thrive. We're here to enjoy and be alive, be empowered. I always say that there's so many unlimited possibilities. We just need to open our eyes and seek. Because if one thing doesn't work out, doesn't mean that that's a bad thing and you failed. It means that you learned something from that, and you learned, one, whether it didn't work out for you, or that you didn't like that thing or that feeling. So we pivot and we go to do something different. And I think that that's what the world needs to see, especially as women. We have been held into this, in this protective cocoon, like we can only stay in these boundaries. And I see so much more for women, especially in our future, that it's like unstoppable. It's so stinking exciting, because if we just bind together, and that's what I love about this show, because I want to connect with you. I want to know what you're doing. I want to hear what others are doing. It's not, oh, I don't want to hear, I want to limit my belief system, or I don't want to let them know what I've done to get successful. I want us all to share that, because if we could all feel successful, can you imagine the vibration of what our children will feel, what our grandchildren will feel, what our generations to come, like in 100 years, will feel? That's what I love. And it's us respecting our being, to even take chances, to take risk, to have a big belief system for years to come, not just today, or not just what I'm going to make in this lifetime, but how I'm going to make a change in our lifetimes ahead of us. So I love what you're doing. And I think that even in spite of you struggling with your children, I think other people are watching you. While you're struggling, you're still seeing, I'm working the best that I can. I still have an identity. My children have their own identity, and I'm here to support them. But I'm not losing my life because of their situation. And I love that about your story too. It's not that you're turning your head away from your children. You're there in support of them, but you're not making their life your life.
Two things I love that you said about success and helping each other out as women. And I know when I first started this entrepreneur journey, I would reach out and I wouldn't get the help. So I had to learn on my own through Google. And I said to myself, if anybody reaches out to me when I'm successful, even back then I knew I would be successful, not knowing what I was doing. I said, I will help them, because to be successful, you have to help others to be successful. And you just said that. And I said, and people have reached out to me, how did you get started? And I've been on Zoom calls. I said, I'll help you. I will give you the basics of what I started out with. And I sit with them and I help them, because it's not about competitions, about helping others to be successful.
It's coming from an abundant heart.
Yes, that too. And I love that you said that. And with the children, I know my son, who is an alcoholic, he lives 5.5 hours away. And you're right. I started this business on Etsy, and I was getting orders. And that weekend, he did get in trouble, and I had to be there for him. So I drove 5.5 hours. But at the time, this is when I was in Allure Beauty online, I had over 200 orders. And I didn't want to lose my identity. So I packed all my ingredients, all my supplies, drove 5.5 hours to the mountains, and I made my Boobalicious while I took care of him, because I didn't want to lose what I started. But I also took care of him. And I look back, how did I do that? But you just do, because of the power of belief, and you believe in yourself, and you're there to help your children as well. So, and you have to be resourceful, because being in the mountains, there's nothing there. I had to go in this dingy little library. I didn't even think the printer was going to work, and I had to print my labels. So, when you have that determination and you believe in yourself and your dream, like nothing is going to stop you.
Yeah. I love the phrase that Marie Forleo uses, everything's figure-outable. and it sounds like that's what you did. You just figured it out. As it came to you, you just had to figure it out. And there is no excuses. And I also believe that when you have a bigger desire, and it's not about you, it's not directly about you, it's about something bigger. And maybe you can't even explain what it is. It's not about making breast deodorant. It's about helping others. It's having the desire to be successful, like you said, so you can help others, because you never want to feel that vulnerability again. You want to be the giver. And that sounds like your story. And I also see those who have been successful and those who are not, because when they're not successful, I believe it's just the scarcity of, I don't want to tell anybody my secrets. I don't want anyone to know what I'm doing because maybe they'll copy me. And the reality is, we all stand on the shoulders of giants, right? We are all learning from the pioneers, and we all make mistakes. And if we are open to it, we're going to find and figure out what is going to align with our truth and our desires so we can help others. And that's the biggest thing. And it sounds exactly what you're doing is you're saying, all right, I'm figuring this out, but I'm also taking care of my hens, my people, my beings. And that's what's keeping you grounded, to keep your story real. I love that.
That's so true. And, like, my daughter's been sober 5 years. My son still struggles, but he's getting there. And the power of belief, he's going to be okay. He's doing great. And with my daughter being 5 years sober, I'm so proud of her. But the moment came to me when you're saying, like, I knew why I was doing it, to financially pay bills for my family as I was laid off. Boobalicious was helping, but then it paid for their recovery. And then when they were both sober a year on September 16th, 2017 was a year. That's when I wrote my purpose. That day I wrote my purpose saying, this is my purpose of Boobalicious. I want to help other families not struggle with what I went through. So I'm working with Millie called Miracles Do Happen, and I want to pay for 1 month's rent for someone that's struggling and the family can't help their daughter, because I'm working with women in recovery right now, but I will expand as my brand expands. I will expand helping others. But I knew right there and then that was my purpose. Like, wow, Boobalicious paid for my children. This is my purpose. I need to help other families. And that's what drives me every day to be better and to be bigger.
I love that. I love that you've taken lemons and made lemonade with it. I love that you're honest and authentic to even see that your baby boy is struggling and you're loving on him in spite of his struggles. His story, his journey is his journey. Your girl is her journey is her journey. They can't compare their journeys together. But you're also doing one thing that I have a deep belief in is self-care. And when mama shows that she loves herself, we teach by example. So one of the biggest things in my life coaching path of working with many, many clients over the years, when women make it a point to take care of themselves, they teach their children how to take care of themselves. So one of the phrases that I commonly use when I'm either going to work out, going for a run, do yoga, or meditate, whatever it is, or even just hang out with my girlfriends, I will always say, Mama's going to find her happy. What are you guys going to go do? What are you going to do to find your happy? So it completely gives them the responsibility to go find their happy, because Mama's not going to make them happy. But Mama will come home very happy and fulfilled, so we can all be together happy. So they go find their happy, I find my happy, and we're all much happier, right? But it all boils down to self-care. So I see what you're doing is self-care, because you're following your dreams and your desire to do something, and your kids are seeing how Mama's taking care of herself. In the beginning, it was for us, but now she's doing it for others, for herself. But we need to pour into us, and then we can pour into others. It's a big, big deal. And I also believe that it's a hard thing for women, because we're not taught to take care of ourselves. And this is the new generation of doing that, right?
Yeah, I was thinking of a story 3 years ago, self-love. And that can, when you're hard on yourself, that self-love can be hard to self-love. And I met this beautiful photographer 3 years ago. I went to California and she did like a makeover on me. And she taught me for the first time self-love. And I never took care of myself because I was taking care of everybody else. And like you said, mommy time, happy time. She said to me, you need me time. Take 1 hour a day of me time. I took her advice. And I have seen a huge difference. I have always been close to my children, but I was the enabler. I don't do that anymore. So she taught me self-love, and the relationship I have with my children is even 10 times better. I thought it was good before, but you just said it. It is so much better because I'm taking care of me now.
Yeah. And I believe that it teaches others, if you take care of yourself, it teaches others how to respect and take care of you, because you create a boundary and you also create a level of respect for yourself, so that other person sees, I need to respect you.
Yes.
And we teach one another in this world how to do that. So if I'm downing myself and I'm telling you how dumb I am, or how ugly I am, or whatever the self-talk that's going on in your head at the time, others may never have noticed that until you bring it up. And then they're like, oh, you're kind of right. Like, but it's so silly that we do that. And especially as women, I've had friends that'll be like, hey, does my butt look big? I'm like, listen, no one's looking at your butt. They're thinking about their own butt. So how about you just love on what you have, feel enough, and start to appreciate all the beautiful and great things that are within you. And the 10% that isn't working well for you, just ignore it or fix it if you can, right?
Absolutely.
So lift up so others could feel around you the positive vibration, because as you know, I'm an energy person, and our vibration illuminates or lights us up. So when we're around that person, we feel good. So if you're thinking good thoughts, and that's exactly why when you and I first met, I said, oh my gosh, Joani, you're such a fun person to be with, because you had this big belief, you had a desire. And I want to hang out with people who have that big belief and that desire to change the world, because it's a vibration, it's an energy, and it feels good to be around. So we align with those people, and that's what we get when we put out positive energy, right?
You know, it's so funny. Everything you're saying is bringing up so many things in my life, and I'm just learning this new entrepreneur world since I was 47, and each year just gets better and better. And positive energy, like you said, I want to be around people like beautiful people like you. I love the way you network. I love your group. And I had the negative energy around me, and now I had to drop certain people because of the negative energy. I want the positive energy.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we need as a woman, to empower each other and to lift each other up and have that positive energy so we can grow together.
Exactly. And I think with that, we just need to just keep pivoting and keep adjusting our vision of what feels and looks good to be around. So those other people, they just fall off. They just kind of go away. And you just replace them with the people who are going for their goals and their desires. So it doesn't have to be like this, I'm going to lop off all those friends or those relationships. You just open up. The universe allows those new people to come in and replace what was there. And you hang out with people who you want to hang out with. You have conversations that allow you to feel lifted and motivated and inspired. And that's alive. That's a feeling of aliveness, which you can't get from a drink or food. It's an energy.
Yes.
And I love that. And I love having this conversation with you. And I hope that all the mamas that are listening are going to feel so full of what we talked about. And hopefully they'll go to your Etsy. Well, I'm going to give you a chance to share some ending thoughts, or where you hang out, so we can find your breast deodorant, and tell us what else you have going on, because I know you've got a whole huge vision. So
I do have a
where
vision.
we can find you.
Well, we can find me on Etsy, etsy.com, my Boobalicious shop. I have a website coming out soon, L-U-V, Boobalicious.com. And before we got started, we were talking about the energy, the vibration, and just a little, I had a partner for over a year and a half, and I hold my, and we just had a, like kind of like a business divorce. And if you're an entrepreneur, you're thinking of partners, and I just want to, I guess I don't want to give you a warning, but I just want to help you because I didn't believe in myself. I hold myself accountable. I thought this partner was going to help me, and we were just going to grow. And what it did, it held me back because I am too nice and respectful that I was afraid to make any decisions in my own company because I didn't want to disrespect him. And I hold myself accountable for that. And we grew apart. So then, it gets messy when you have to separate from your partner. And it can cost you money. It can cost you anguish, a lot of depression. It can cost, it's a journey. And it was a struggle for me. But it worked out. I am 100% woman-owned business now. And I learned from that journey of having a partner with not having a partner, and I hold myself accountable. But what you were just talking about, the vibration, I haven't advertised for a month. I haven't posted for a month. And because of my energy level of owning my own business and feeling good now and feeling that I can make 100% decisions, I have had the best month in sales than I ever had without advertising, without doing Facebook Live. So I so believe in the universe and the vibration like you just talked about. And that's what happened to me.
I love it. It's like a catalyst. It's like the universe says, oh, you are like completely on target for this bigger desire. And I'm just going to allow the flow to flow into you. So that's exactly what happened. You were not being held down or pulled down by any other energy that was taking from you.
Yes, and it was also the self-doubt, the belief that I could not do this business on my own. So, even though I have the power of belief, you still have your setbacks. Like, I can't do this business on my own. I need the help. I need that expert. But the truth is, you can do it on your own. You can do anything you want on your own. So, again, it's the power of belief, which I have, again, the power of belief that I can run my own business.
I love that. I love that. And with that being said, I'm going to end this amazing conversation because what better could that be? So whatever the belief system is for the magnificent mama who's struggling, dig deeper. Look for the belief because I know I believe in that mama, you believe in that mama, and together we can all lift up. And absolutely, we want to encourage and empower other women to just step into their truth because there's something bigger and better for them.
Absolutely.
So thank you so much, Joani, for spending this time with me. I completely appreciate you sharing your authentic story, the struggles, the raw, the real. I know it's hard and you haven't allowed that excuse to step in and hold you back. And you're using that raw, real to share with others. And it's not like it's in your past that you're talking about it from your past. You're talking about it from the present, and you're showing that you're still moving forward, making it happen. So I give you so much credit. I give you this big virtual hug, and I want to just say thank you for sharing time with us today.
Thank
Look forward
you.
to seeing you soon.
Yes, thank you for this opportunity.
Awesome.